What's up, everybody? What's going on? Hope you all had a great weekend. The reigning champions even the series after falling into an 0-2 hole. After losing the first two games of the series at home, the Nuggets have stormed back in this series to remind everybody they're the defending champs, tying the series with Sunday's 115-107 Game 4 win. I mean, I definitely wouldn't call the Timberwolves chokers, but they absolutely blew a chance in this series. They had a chance to take a 3-0 commanding lead. They had a chance to take the lead in this series with a win last night. Didn't happen. You're also going against the defending champions, and you fight long enough, eventually you're gonna have to face some kind of adversity. The champs are here. Whatever went wrong in the first two games of this series appears to have been corrected. It certainly seems that they have made adjustments and figured out Minnesota. A golden opportunity for the Timberwolves is lost. They couldn't even win one game at home. Got to clamp down on defense. You couldn't protect home court. You got to lock down the paint and keep Jokic away from the paint. You got to get back to playing defense the way you were playing. The four-time defensive player of the year, Rudy Gobert, looked soft and like he didn't even have no business being out there. He got cooked. Only if Cat shows up. They need him to be a scorer, that second option. The Wolves have missed a lot of open shots, and Denver is making theirs. Many of those big misses are because they don't really have a consistent scorer outside of Anthony Edwards. Now, Denver got back into their rhythm. It's an offense that generates efficient, low-effort shots, in large part because of what Jokic brings to the table. Nikola Jokic, the three-time MVP, played like an MVP. I mean, I guess he showed us why he was named the MVP once again. His ability to post up Gobert and call Anthony Towns and get a shot off despite them being more athletic is wearing them down. I wouldn't say the Wolves lack heart, but they don't have enough star power. Anthony Edwards doesn't have a lot of help. You can't score suddenly, and you refuse to play defense when you're the best defensive unit in the league. That's not good. That's not good at all. They won't win another game this series if they play like they've played in the last two games. Totally different vibe in the last two games from the Nuggets. I literally said this Denver team was done. You guys heard me say that. Like, I honestly thought Minnesota was the far more superior team, the better team in terms of physicality and defense. I was wrong. I was wrong the whole time. And I can admit that I was wrong. I have no problem admitting that I was wrong because our predictions are not going to be 100% accurate all the time, right? That's why they play the game. I feel like we've been here before when we dismissed crediting how good this Nuggets team is. Right now, the Nuggets have all the momentum in the world. I noticed weird vibes in Game 3, bad energy from Minnesota. I paid it no mind and brushed it off because I said, you know what? It's just one game. They'll regroup and gather themselves and get it together. And then Game 4 happens, and it was the same thing. Minnesota gets beat once again by Denver. It's a brand new series, a whole new ball game. Jokic was brilliant for the first and fourth quarters, while Murray rode the momentum from his buzzer beater just before halftime into a scorching start to the third quarter. I believe they went on an 8-0 run. That's when they put up an 8-0 run in 20 seconds. And, it was just poor coaching from the Wolves. Barely got Edwards the ball in the fourth quarter, and Naz Reid was out the entire quarter. Gobert is a liability. We saw that last night. So now this series it goes to Game 5. It's a pivotal Game 5. the game is set for Tuesday back in Denver. Denver has a chance to protect their home court and win a game finally at home because so far in this series, no team has won at home. They've won on the road, and I mean, the Nuggets, man, they fought off a hot start from Minnesota to take the lead towards the end of the first quarter that they would never relinquish, right? And this is what Denver does. I mean, Denver is just a team that knows how to win. And even if they are struggling, let's say if they're struggling through the game, like for most part of the game, let's say they're struggling, they can't really muster up enough offense, their shots are not falling, they still find a way to win. And that's what championship teams do. They overcome adversity, they find a way to pull out the win, even if it's ugly. Not every win is going to be pretty, and they take care of business. But see, the Timberwolves are a very young team. They're inexperienced, Yes, they wow us with their athleticism and their ability to play defense. I mean, in the first two games, they smothered the Nuggets, right? They frustrated them. You saw Jamal Murray act out of character, man. He was throwing objects onto the floor because he was very frustrated, couldn't really get his shots to fall, was being defended brilliantly by Jaden McDaniels, who has done a great job keeping his feet in front of him, forcing him to take difficult shots and whatnot, and I mean, we all know what Anthony Edwards is going to bring to the table. I mean, the Wolves star vowed to improve upon his Game 3 performance, and he sure did, putting up 44 points on 16 for 24 shooting. However, it wasn't good enough to get the job done. He didn't get much help on the offensive end. However, as Michael Conley was I think Michael Conley was the team's next highest scorer at 15 points, But, man, the champs are not going to go away. We know that about them. The Nuggets have clearly locked in on defense. I mean, that's been the difference in these last two games with Gordon and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope using their physicality, quickness, and craftiness to bother pretty much every player on the floor. They're making it tough for them. Edwards had his 44 points, but much of it was due to spectacular offense rather than, the defensive lapses by Denver, and that's just the thing, right? Denver is finally making it tough for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and now it's suddenly a different series. It certainly seems, however, that the Nuggets have seized back momentum along with home court advantage as the series shifts to Game 5. So we should see what will happen. You love the energy from both teams. You love the trash talk. Minnesota, man, they got to stop with that weird energy. They got to keep playing tough. They can't let up, Yes, it's tough now because now you let them back in the series, and now the Nuggets once again believe that they can win this series. Gordon, man, continues to hit threes at this clip. You see the confidence he's displaying in this series as well. If he can provide 20-plus points in addition to his incredible defense and vertical spacing, the Nuggets will be in good shape. Karl Anthony Towns is so talented offensively that his bad games are few and far between. But when he's bad, he's really bad. And when he's bad, the Minnesota Timberwolves are bad. The 7-footer went 1 for 10 from the field in the first half and finished at 5 of 18 for the game, including 1 of 4 from three-point range. He's going to have to be a lot better. He's going to have to be a lot better on both ends of the floor. He ended the night with 13 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 assists, which just isn't good enough from the man that even Edwards calls the team's best offensive player. So, if he has an off night, man, good luck winning the game. It wasn't just that Towns was missing. Everyone had off nights. He took some simply horrendous shots in what looked like an effort to force himself back on track. Um, and things just didn't work in their favor. And we do know Minnesota has a lot of size, right? Right? They have uh guys who give them an advantage inside the paint. You know, and that can be a disadvantage for a team like Denver. And we've seen that early, right? That it was a disadvantage for Denver. But I mean, Denver's sizable lead in this game, I think kind of killed the mood for Minnesota. It took them out of the game. You just didn't see the same Minnesota Timberwolves team that you've seen in the first two games. So things are going to have to be a lot different. But their shot selection, that drives you crazy if you're a fan. That drives you crazy. And they have to make their shots. They have to defend really well. They have to commit to playing defense, especially against the Denver Nuggets. You gotta be better against the Denver Nuggets. We'll see what will happen in Game 5. I think the Nuggets will make this series interesting along the way. I do think since it's been that type of series, I think Minnesota will go back on the road, get a win, force a Game 6, and this series will go to Game 7, and there will be a Game 7 in Denver. And we all know what happens in Game 7s, right? Anything is possible in Game 7. I think this is a 7-game series, certainly. I think the rest of Minnesota's roster is going to have to step up. They know that they can't afford to waste another outstanding performance from Anthony Edwards, who came out on fire and sustained his greatness throughout the game. And they're going to have to, they're going to have to be a lot better. They're going to have to play with a different sense of urgency and a high level of intensity in order to beat this very good Denver Nuggets team. But we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching, everyone. Really appreciate the love and support. We'll talk very soon. We'll catch up very soon. I'm getting out of here now. Thanks for following and keeping up with the Sports Judge and checking out his content. Really appreciate the love and support, everyone. We'll talk soon. Take care, everyone. Peace.